A warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguele. Let's begin by telling you that Nigeria is not a failed nation and cannot be a failing nation. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this at a media briefing in Lagos. The minister, who described as jaundiced analysts who have made Nigeria their pastime, refusing to see positive aspect of the country, have sustained their negative wish for the nation by continually spewing fake news and promoting hatred among the citizens.
Migration, as well as to boost national economy and strengthen border security. Exercise is being coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor and comprises the Nigeria Customs Service, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Armed Forces of Nigeria, as well as the Nigerian Police Force and other security and intelligence agencies. I can report to you, gentlemen, that over a year into the exercise, it is a huge success, having saved resources and enhanced national security. The importation of drugs and proliferation of small arms, which usually fuel violent extremism, terrorism in the country, have been significantly curtailed. The central bank also pledged to pump 1.1 trillion into critical sectors of the economy. There's also the commencement of a 3-month repayment moratorium for all trader money, market money, and farmer money loans. Similar moratorium to be given to all federal government funded loans issued by the Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, and the Nigerian Export-Import Bank. Of course, we also have the 774,000 special public works jobs, 1,000 jobs per each local government, which is now scheduled to commence this January. As a matter of fact, I think it's on Wednesday. The program is designed for artisans to do public works for 3 months at 20,000 per person per month.
Right, a look at housing scheme by the federal government as part of its determination to ensure the success of the social housing scheme, where the Buhari administration will construct 300,000 houses under the Economic Sustainability Plan for low-income earning Nigerians. Cement manufacturers have agreed with the federal government to charge discount price, making the disclosure over the weekend while visiting the completed model houses in Dede at the Federal Capital Territory. Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo affirmed it is indeed possible to deliver decent and affordable accommodation that will be within the reach of many Nigerians. The Vice President, after seeing the prototypes of the 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom bungalows, expressed satisfaction with the quality of the design and the fact that the houses are very affordable. Commenting on the implementation of the scheme across the country, the Vice President assured that the mass housing program will be provided across the country. A release by Laolu Akonde, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, says the job creation component of the Economic Sustainability Plan would also be actualized through social housing scheme. Nigeria is working out a national action plan for effective monitoring and implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which has come on stream. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adeni Adebayo, says the national monitoring mechanism will tidy the legal framework and also prevent Nigeria from becoming a dumping ground on the continent. Let's hear more from Lydia Sampson.
Development experts are not in doubt that the African Continental Free Trade Area is creating a huge economic bloc. However, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are unanimous that Nigeria must have deliberate policies to harness the benefits of the single African market. The federal government is not unmindful of this.
We are growing our production and service capacity. We are updating our policies, regulations and laws. We are improving our trade, logistics and power infrastructure. We are consolidating our trade facilitation and ease of doing business programs. We are upgrading our quality infrastructure. We are actively driving the expansion of Nigerian businesses into select African markets. We are growing our skill base and human capacity. We are enforcing our borders and ensuring seamless coordination among agencies of government, between government and private sector, and between Nigerian government and business community and their counterparts in Africa.
Nigeria is projected to benefit especially through provision of services to the rest of the continent, but the need to recalibrate production chains for manufacturing of critical goods and commodities was also highlighted.
One of the things that come into play is the capacity, building capacity of the people, removing them from poverty, creating jobs. The real challenge is how to overcome this problem, which can come using the African Continental Agreement for development. Then we must continuously promote trade literacy. We need to, because it's a complex treaty. All those issues were raised now. That means that we must keep on educating ourselves. What are the processes, the clauses in the treaty?
The guest noted that Nigeria has a lot to capture in the African market and advocated capacity building for monitoring the country's economic and developmental progress in the African Continental Free Trade Area. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The Ebonyi State Police Command has described the video on social media platform alleging that Fulani herdsmen were being attacked and chased out of Ebonyi State as misleading and a mere fabrication by faceless group. In a statement, the command says that on the 2nd of January 2021, one Fulani herdsman, Alhaji Adamu, residing at Ozibo village in Inka Leke Ichaba Enyi Bishiri community in Ebonyi local government area of Ebonyi State, decided to relocate with some members of his family to Taraba State in search of greener pastures for his cows as the dry season is setting in. The header also informed the village chairman and Ichaba Development Center coordinator before his peaceful and voluntary relocation. The person left seven other members of his family who were still residing at the same settlement with some of their cattle. Therefore, the command re-emphasized that before circulation of the video, the command have no record of threat to the life of the peace-loving herders or their cows, neither to those residing in the said camp or in the entire state. The police also explained that the Fulani community paid Christmas and New Year visit to Governor of Ebonyi State and nothing of such threat was reported. The command therefore urges the public to regard that video as fake, baseless and mischievous and go about their lawful businesses. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police Ebonyi State, Philip Sulemaku, has ordered full-scale investigation into the matter with a view to arresting those behind the fake video for possible prosecution. And more on security matters, the Directorate of Defense Media Operations says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has destroyed more Boko Haram terrorist hideouts and eliminated several of their fighters at two locations, Kote Kura and Bulama Isa Amari, both in Borno State. The MO coordinator, Major General John Eneche, indicates that the airstrikes were executed on 2nd January 2021, employing Nigerian Air Force fighter aircraft based on credible intelligence reports indicating that the terrorists had recently established camps at both settlements for their logistics items and to plan and launch attacks. The NAF attack aircraft engaged scores of terrorists observed in the target areas, leading to the neutralization of several of them, as well as the destruction of structures and logistics stores, some of which were seen engulfed in flames at both locations. All right, let's take you back to the sequel to that report from Ebonyi State that a fake video is circulating. We hear that the Ebonyi State government has summoned an emergency security meeting with security chiefs and headers in attendance to clear the air over the viral video alleging forceful ejection of headers in the state. Let's get more details from Chinaza John.
The meeting, attended by members of Meiti Alakato Leaders Association in Ebonyi State and all security chiefs at the instance of the state government, was to clear the air on purported ejection of Fulani headers in the state. The Secretary to Ebonyi State Government, Dr. Kenneth Obala, and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Cletus Ofoke, stated that headers and their host communities are coexisting peacefully. Hence, there was no need to create such tension.
We want to put it on good record that such information or situation has been painted can never be traced in any part of the state. The security chiefs are here. All of them are seated here. There is no such record before government.
I want to tell the whole world that Ebonyi State government is highly embarrassed by that video in circulation, because nothing of such ever existed in Ebonyi State.
The Secretary of Meiti Allah Cattle Breeders Association in the state, Alhaji Sani Inusa, disclosed that one of their members, Alhaji Adamu, decided to move back to his state in search of greener pastures and as his new title demands, stressing that none of their members are under attack of any kind in the state.
And normally in Ebonyi State, the governments are doing well, which normally the only opportunity they are giving to us, and they are not the one that says then the video is fake, is not true. So that is our own stand, and the governments are doing their best to make sure there's peace between the Fulani and the natives.
The Commissioner of Police in Ebonyi State, Philip Marco, called on residents to remain calm and go their lawful business, as the command has commenced investigation to fish out the originator of the said video.
The background, if you look at it very clear, there was no element of any violence in that. People were loading, laughing and joking. So if somebody was in threat, I don't think. But we are working on it to ensure that who brought that, who circulated that video.
Present at the meeting was a brother to Alhaji Adamu, who however declined talking to NTA News. Alhaji Adamu on 2nd January 2021 decided to relocate some of his families to Taraba State in search of greener pastures, but someone filmed his peaceful relocation, alleging that he was being forced out of Ebonyi State. In Abakaliki, Chinaza John, NTA News.
A look at the education scene. A new education development strategy has been designed and adopted in Yobe State, meant to encourage and increase enrollment, particularly in insurgency-affected areas. Now, this education action plan involved the construction of 6 model schools and 6 mega schools in the 6 major towns of the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Designed to decongest schools in semi-urban and urban areas mostly overstretched as a result of insecurity and the need to encourage and increase enrollment, particularly in insurgency-impacted areas, informed the decision of Yobe State government to embark on the construction of 6 model schools in Damaturu, Buniadi, Potuskum, Gaidam, Geshua and Guru local government areas. The model schools, which have combined 360 classrooms, 108 offices, 6 modern ICT centers and water facilities, are constructed at the cost of 1.8 billion naira.
You can imagine the out-of-school children, but with this mega school being constructed here, I am happy. At the same time, I am sure the community will fully be settled, because course, you cannot have a very huge population like that of Bunyadi without education.
Each consuming 300 million naira. Apart from the construction of the modern schools, mega schools construction in the major towns of Potoskum, Damaturu, Bunyadi, Guru and Keshwa are underway, all geared towards providing the much needed infrastructure and environment that will promote standard academic and non-academic activities. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
And from Yobe State, we make a stop in Lagos, where Michael is already standing by to bring us some more reports. Michael?
Thank you, Ruth. The new year for many heralds, new plans, ideas and expectations, and some Lagosians are optimistic that positive changes would intensify in the nation. Dr. Ogunyemi reports.
Just recently, the federal government passed the 2021 Appropriation Budget for the expenditure of funds in various sectors of the economy. In December 2020, the nation's land borders, which were closed for months, reopened. These, among other developments, respondents believe will begin to change the economic and social outlook of the nation.
What I expect our leaders in this new year 2021 to do is to seek the welfare of every Nigerian. By the decisions they make, the laws they pass.
The diversification of the economy is more important to our life than just capitalizing on oil.
Pour more money in agric. Very soon, Nigeria will forget about oil.
We don't have to apportion blame on anybody. No government has ever been perfect. If we must face reality, nature is dealing with the whole world. We should continue to pray, and God will answer our prayers.
Government has strongly emphasized that the nation's economy will be diversified from oil, as well as other infrastructural projects ongoing to improve livelihood of Nigerians. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
A book that gives perspective into the life, personality, character, and legacies of former Nigerian president, political icon, and elder statesman has been unveiled in Lagos. The book, titled The Man, the General, the President, was written by Otumba Femi Karena. Dr. Ogunyemi again completes the reports.
The saying, "You don't appreciate freedom because you never lost it," is famously credited to Olusegun Obasanjo. It is one of many others that will keep the reader's nose in this 171-page book, along with the achievements of a nationalist whose accomplishments traverse national and political barriers. Although the gathering was without the presence of the personality being celebrated, his wife, Chief Bola Obasanjo, stood instead on this occasion, while other guests joined virtually.
Loving or hating, one thing is for sure. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo is not a passive observer of events in Nigeria, even out of office.
There has been no limit to how Obasanjo will go to seek knowledge. He reads and shares ideas. He brings in experts and specialists. He is multidisciplinary. That is perhaps the reason why he established the Africa Leadership Forum, where he brought together African leaders.
The book, which is an 11-year project of the author, did not fail to do justice to the personality.
Baba inspired me to write this book. If you worked as close as I did and still doing with Baba, and you're not able to make something out of it, then something is wrong with you.
The book launch is also the maiden lecture of the Olusegun Obasanjo Leadership Lecture Series. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
This is NTA Nationwide. More reports with Ruth shortly after this break.
Good to have you there. 8,000 rural women have benefited from the federal government's 20,000 Naira grant in Kano State. Well, the beneficiaries drawn from the 44 local government areas of the state are operators of small household businesses. Abdullahi Mustafa, who covered the symbolic disbursement of the grants, reports that the intervention is part of programs being implemented by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development.
Rural women are key beneficiaries of the federal government social intervention program, which is aimed at addressing the plight of the poor and vulnerable in the country. More than 12,000 households have so far benefited in various ways since 2015. The Grant for Rural Women program introduced in 2020 is part of strategies to actualize President Buhari's national vision of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years.
It is designed to provide a one-off grant to some of the poorest and most vulnerable women in rural and semi-urban areas of the country. To appreciate the efforts of the Ministry for giving Kano the largest share of this special intervention program.
Daharatu Mukhtar, a widow and mother of 13 children, is one of the 8,000 women who benefited from the program in Kano State. She is happy that enough capital has been provided to strengthen her food business, which remains the family's source of livelihood. Daharatu and more than 100,000 other rural women across the country are expected to have increased income and productive assets through the program. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Talking ICT, it was a year that the ICT sector announced its relevance to not only the Nigerian economy but also every sphere of life. While COVID-19 in 2020 shut down the country, the ICT sector comparatively soared, as everything and everyone depended on the sector in one form or the other. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson has a review.
Predictions and projections had it that ICT will do well in 2020, but no one saw it as being the lifeline. COVID-19 was already wreaking havoc in Wuhan, China. It was not expected to spread like wildfire across the world, halting everything. ICT became the savior of a sort, with online being the safest means of doing many things. Nigeria was not an exception. The inaugurations of many ICT skills centers across the country and digital trainings of youth and civil servants came in handy.
We want to ensure that in the next 10 years, we don't have a traditional or manual Nigeria, but rather a digital Nigeria. Each and every Nigerian is encouraged to key into a digital Nigeria.
Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, especially this administration, has done a lot in terms of policy formulation, streamlining ICT services in the country, and the major efforts of bringing government services online.
The new normal saw the sector contributing more than 17% to the nation's GDP in the second quarter. For Angela Lucia, an ICT expert, 2020 was a defining moment for Nigeria's digital journey.
I'm happy I've been involved in the 80s, in the 90s, into the 2000s. I was part of analog, and I can compare analog and digital. My God, throw away analog. Digital is the real McCoy, and let's work towards it and make sure it happens.
From the launch and unveiling of the National Broadband Penetration Plan 2020 to 2025 by the federal government to the deactivation of about 2.2 million improperly registered SIM cards and subsequent transfer of the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) to the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. It was all falling into places for the sector in Nigeria.
In this digital era, that you need a mobile phone. You need also a digital account, and then the broadband have to be in place. And beyond that, the identity is the foundation that determines the people that will also make the digital economy works properly.
Just when the year was ending, the ICT world defied the odds and held the only live in-person technology event of the year in Dubai, where 10 Nigerian startups shared the global stage with their counterparts across the world to showcase their innovative skills. From the look of things, 2021 will be a digital year for Nigeria, as more and more people will have to depend on the internet for some services. And of course, for the sector, mastering the art of thriving through the storm of the global pandemic is even now inevitable, especially with COVID-19 giving birth to a twin with a touch of variance. Yes, technology is helping humans navigate the times, but will 2021 see the end of the virus? Well, even technology can't seem to answer that. I guess the new year will have to speak for itself. Happy Digital New Year, Nigeria. I'm Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
All right, thanks, Gigi, for that. Let's look at other issues. Following the directives by the federal government imposing temporary travel restrictions on 100 passengers due to non-compliance to the mandatory Day 7 post-arrival COVID-19 PCR test, the Comptroller General of Nigeria Immigration Service, Mohammed Babundidi, has ordered the relevant formations to ensure immediate compliance with the travel restriction order. In a statement, the immigration boss said the 114 passengers have been restricted for a period of 6 months, beginning from January 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2021. The statement explained further that all the affected passengers have been notified and will be prevented from passport reissuance and traveling outside the country during this period. The Nigerian Immigration Service wants all affected passengers to comply to avoid breaching public health protocols and refusal of departure. And we're hearing latest figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control indicating that 917 new infections have been recorded in the country in the last 24 hours. The NCDC says the new infections were reported in 16 states and the FCT. With the new figures, Nigeria is now having 90,080 confirmed cases of the virus. The breakdown shows that FCT leads with 222 new cases, Lagos 214, Kaduna 119, Plateau 92, Nasarawa 50, Oyo 41, Adamawa 33, Ondo 32, Abia 28, and Ogun 19. Rivers State recorded 17 new cases, Kano 16, Yobe 14, Edo 8, Anambra 6, Ekiti 5, and Jigawa recorded just a case. As Nigeria moves closer to testing 1 million samples, active cases nationwide have increased to 13,725, while total discharged cases stand at 75,044, while the death toll has risen to 1,311. Agribusiness is next. The policy and programs of federal government in the agricultural sector have successfully pushed up food production, thereby averting food crisis during the year that was hit by coronavirus crisis. Musa Baba Aliyu X-rays the performance of the sector in the year 2020.
The 24 hours of every single day are important and crucial to farmers, livestock breeders, as well as researchers. And this is why the rainy and dry seasons remain of significance to farmers. The year 2020 was like any other year to farmers, characterized by planting, harvesting, storage, marketing, and processing. Agricultural activities were, however, disrupted with the outbreak of COVID-19, flood, and drought between March and September. This led to drop in the production of some major crops as observed by the Agricultural Research Institute of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria.
And the projection shows that actually, if interventions are not done now, we shall have many people falling into food insecurity and malnutrition.
And within the year, new policies and programs were introduced by the federal government. About 50,000 agricultural extension agents were trained to support rural farmers nationwide. Roadmap for the establishment of $500 million crop processing zones were drafted at the beginning of the year. The federal government also approved a loan facility of $1.2 billion to finance mechanization of agriculture in the country. The loan will be used to acquire heavy-duty equipment and implements to be distributed to all local government areas in the country.
Meant for government to borrow, to on-lend to tractor assembly plants, to on-lend to businesses that will set up processing centers at senatorial level as well as at local government level.
Agriculture for Food and Job is another project launched by the federal government during the year. The project is designed to mitigate the negative impact of COVID-19 on the economy and livelihood of farmers by creating more access to food and for the rapid emergence of competitive food production, processing, and distribution in Nigeria.
Take the issue of food security and health of the population seriously. These seeds are being given to the beneficiaries free of charge, while other input given at 75% subsidy.
The Central Bank of Nigeria provided about 432 billion naira to fund the value chains of 9 commodities in the 2020 wet season. 11 varieties of high-yielding seeds were released by the Nigerian scientists and certified by the National Varieties Release Committee in the year under review. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Our next stop is Benin, and Obehi is ready to bring us some more reports. Obehi?
I'm Ruth. Many thanks for joining us in Benin. Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 5, Benin, Shola David, has confirmed the recent cell break where 10 suspects escaped on the 1st of January from the State Criminal Investigation Department facility in Benin. The AIG, while briefing newsmen on the situation, promised that the command will do anything within its means to rearrest the escapees. Ifeoma Okafo has details.
The 10 suspects were reported to have been detained in police custody for various offenses bordering on stealing, murder, cultism, robbery, and other criminal offenses. Investigation reveals that the suspects who were detained on a court order at the state CID escaped from the police custody in the early hours of January 1st this year. Nigerians in Benin are reacting to the development. They expressed fear that these developments will heighten criminality in the state.
It is now that we want the security, the police and army to take serious action now. Because if they cannot find them out, those criminals will make sure they turn the whole federation upside down.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 5, Benin, Shola Davis, has visited the command and assured the citizens of adequate protection of lives and property.
I also want to use the opportunity to debunk that social media news that over hundreds of suspects escaped from the state CID. No. We have done a painstaking check and we found that 10 suspects escaped. We want to reassure the people of Edo State that all steps have been taken and very soon these bad boys will be brought back to where they should be.
Earlier, the police spokesperson confirmed that 2 out of the 10 suspects have been rearrested. This recent cell break is coming 2 months after about 2,000 prisoners escaped from Benin Correctional Center in Edo State in the wake of NSAS protests. In Benin, Ifeoma Okafo, NTA News.
As Nigerians brace up to the challenges and prospects of 2021, more projections and expectations are already on the front burner. This report by Austin Edemudu captures the opinions of Nigerians on the socio-economic and political landscape for 2021. His report.
Government at all levels are expected to provide the basic necessities of life and security for its citizenry. Going into year 2021, these dividends of democracy are utmost expectations from the leaders.
Yes, the year 2020 was very challenging to the extent that the entire economy was locked down, our health was locked down, the finances of the people, life generally was on the lockdown.
Cost of governance is astronomical. It's quite big.
it has to be curtailed.
At the state level, the government has been given some pass mark, while some expect more people-oriented projects and programs.
If the year is devoid of public health challenges, etc., then of course we expect to see a much more robust economy in the sense that the people, will be happy. The government order will have enough resources to be able to execute its people-oriented projects.
In general, Nigerians expect a more united and secured Nigeria with opportunities.
I believe that if Nigeria, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba are one, we're better off.
Above all, we should live a life of holiness, fearing God.
Achieving a better nation in 2021 demands concerted effort from the leaders and the followers to meet the desired expectations of all. I'm Austin Edomodu, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Thanks, Obehi. And for us, next is... Thanks for staying tuned. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Pantami, has directed the immediate suspension of some staff allegedly involved in extortion of applicants at the Bauchi and Kaduna state offices of the National Identity Management Commission. The minister, in a statement, restates his zero tolerance for extortion, bribery and corruption. He notes that such unethical practices, if allowed to fester, has the potential of derailing the SIM-NIN integration projects. Enrollment of the National Identification Number is free of charge, and on no account should anyone pay to obtain an enrollment form or to have their biometrics captured, the statement concludes. On the judiciary scene, the federal government has arraigned the convener of Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore, and 4 others before the magistrate court in Wuse Zone 2, Abuja, for allegedly leading a protest against bad governance on New Year's Eve at the Gudu area of Abuja. Well, the 5 defendants pleaded not guilty to the charges of criminal conspiracy, unlawful assembly, and attempt to incite others against the federal government. If you recall, Omoyele Sowore is still under prosecution before a federal high court in another matter for calling for a revolution against the government. His counsel, Marshal Abubakar, prayed the court to grant him bail pending the trial, but the court ordered him to file a formal bail application. The matter has been adjourned to Tuesday.
To the court, anytime the court, if there's any court at all that is sitting within the purview of their time of detention, and that is why I've told you that as far as we are concerned, in FCT here, the first opportunity of court sitting is only today, and that's why they are here before the court.
Sowore was not part of that protest. He was not part of that rally. He just came in and intervened when he saw them beating the Nigerian citizen, and he said, "Why are you beating these persons?"
In another development, the All Progressives Congress has closed its case of alleged certificate forgery leveled against Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki. At the resumed trial before the Federal High Court in Abuja, the APC called 2 more witnesses who testified on the cross-examination that Godwin Obaseki's degree certificate obtained in 1979 from University of Ibadan appeared to have been altered. Governor Obaseki is slated to open his defense on Tuesday, and by the court's calculation, the lifespan of the pre-election matter lapses at the end of this week. A look at the economy. Government and policy makers have been advised to utilize fiscal policy instrument and invest more into production rather than consumption as means to boosting the economy. Well, this was as experts make projections into the state of economy in the year 2021. Grace Bamidele will tell us more.
Despite of the various policies to revamp the agricultural sector with the intention of diversifying the economy as well as other socio-economic policies embedded on the social investment agenda of the President Buhari-led administration, the nation reportedly slid into recession a second time in 4 years.
We deviated from agriculture because we stumbled into oil and we thought that oil will flow forever. It will never be that. There will forever be fluctuations in the price and vicissitudes that direct the gains from oil. And we are beginning to see the reality.
And most
developed countries now on the second phase of lockdown. So we pray that 2021 will usher in prosperity in terms of Nigeria's economy.
As the economy outlook remains fragile, clouded by uncertainty regarding the oil price trajectory, rising inflation, security challenges, spike in COVID-19 infections, among others, what is the way out in the wake of the new year?
The more COVID-19 still remain with us, the challenges still remain true. So getting out of, or getting the COVID off will definitely assist and bring our economy back in shape.
The alignment of various policies to suit environmental factors and economic recurring events has been suggested by experts as panacea for improved economy in the year 2021. In Ibadan, Grace Bamdele, NTA News.
It is a tradition for many to have expectations for a new year. This is expected to guide their actions and activities towards self-actualization of desires and goals. Well, yeah, 2021 is no different, as some residents of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, shared their expectations for the new year. Dr. Nakmayemi's report is here presented.
Year 2020 reshaped the dreams of many with the unusual events that characterized the year. It did not deter the high expectations that heralded year 2021. While some maintain that the new year is no different from others, as they would keep up their strength of character, others shared areas of theirs.
2021, more grace to Nigeria, more grace for your state.
I want to be celebrated this year.
We just pray for a better year this year.
Noble as these resolutions may be, determination and willpower to carry on to the end of the year is required.
Hopeful indeed. Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State has reiterated his determination to revamp the education sector by providing physical infrastructure, security facilities and employment of new teachers. The governor disclosed this at a solemn assembly to kickstart the year 2021. Susan Asuko reports.
It has become a ritual that on January 2 every year, Akwa Ibom State government and the people of the state converge in a solemn assembly to rededicate the state and the people to God. Due to the spike in COVID-19, the 2021 edition was restricted to accommodate few persons to avoid some uncertainties. With an open heart of gratitude, the state governor, Udom Emmanuel, who led other clergies and people of the state to the yearly ritual, gave God thanks through praise. In his words of hope for the people, Governor Udom Emmanuel, who admitted that COVID-19 is real, enjoined the people to put on faith above fear, stressing that if all COVID-19 protocols are observed, the spread of the virus will be minimal and there will be no reason to lock down the economy of the state.
We are going to stimulate the economy this January. We're not going to wait. We're going to try to pump the system by all means.
The officiating minister, Apostle Ben Ofiong, who spoke on the theme, "We are for signs and wonders," maintained that knowledge and revelation through the word of God will produce men who will impact positively on the society. With the theme, "We are for signs and for wonders," the events featured prayers to rededicate the state to God, prayers for peace and prosperity for the state and nation, as well as prayers for the governor and members of his cabinet. From the banquet hall, Government House, Uyo, Susan Asukwo, NTA News.
Talking sports, Golden Eaglets in high spirits ahead of Wafu B tournament in Togo. Bad day.